Hey guys, I thought this would be interesting to do. So, a couple, a year ago, I did a video about top 5 overrated bands. And I got a lot of, amazingly, to my surprise, positive attention to that. And I kind of wanted to do something similar to that, but not a top 5. No, I want to look I want to give a different point of view to this, and I kind of want to talk about some people like artists, bands, musicians, who people say they're overrated, and I'm going to see if I agree or not. Now, keep in mind, like I said before, this is just my opinion, blah, blah, blah. So, let's do this. Elvis Presley. Now, I before I get if I think so or not, this is what people say. People who think Elvis Presley is overrated says about Elvis Presley. Oh, he's overrated because he never wrote a song in his life. He took rock and roll from black culture. Oh, he did this and that, blah, 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 blah. Now it's time for me to speak. I think of Elvis Presley in the same way I kind of do about the Beatles. Yes, he is overrated in the fact he probably gets a lot more credit than what he should. But at the same time, though, let's be honest, if it wasn't for him, we probably wouldn't have like half of the bands we have. And as for the race, okay, that stuff is very fishy. And to be fair, there is some black artists out there, as James Brown, and also like Muddy Waters, who I really like, Muddy Waters, says if it wasn't for Elvis, we wouldn't really be here, you know. So take that with a grain of salt, I think. But at the same time, I can kind of understand why people would think, oh, he's overrated. Okay, moving on. The Rolling Stones. You know, I heard a lot of people refer the Rolling Stones over the Beatles sometimes, and I can actually kind of understand why. To be fair, the Rolling Stones had a bit more of an edge to them. Now, to me, why people say they're overrated, though, is just the same way how people would think the Beatles are overrated. They were just a group what got big because of the times. They didn't really say much. But to me, is the Rolling Stones overrated? No, I do think they're overplayed, but that's the difference. To me, there is a difference between overrated and overplayed. And to be frank, not their best songs get overplayed. It's mostly like their, Sympathy to the Devil, You Can't Always Get What You Want, which are good songs. But, I wouldn't call them like their best. If you want to listen to good songs, listen to, You're Playing with Fire. Even though that song is a little sexist to today's standards, I would say. I mean, that song does give me the creeps sometimes, every time I listen to it. But, to be fair, it is a good bluesy tune, and, and yes, people, if I can go off the tangent a little bit, the Rolling Stones was a good band. Were they the most woman-friendly band? No. No, I can say that myself. They were never the woman-friendly band. I'm sorry for all you anti-SJWs out there. Okay. But I'm not gonna go on that tangent. I decided to bring it up because every time you bring up the Rolling Stones, you get the mixed opinions. And yes, people, Nate Jagger, even though he's trying to clean his hands now, he was a sexist back then and probably is now. Okay, moving on. um, here's one of my favorite bands. What at the same time, I guess I get it, but I'm going to tell you why I don't think so, and you probably already know what it is. Nirvana. Now, Nirvana is one of those bands I feel like it was one of the lifetime bands. They changed the game, really. And when I say they changed the game, I don't mean they were one of those bands what made an era. I mean, they did made the era, but they made an era through music first. That's what a lot of people forget. The Beatles, they made music by era. They basically took what was going on at the time with the Beat Generation and made it through music. While Nirvana took music and made it a era. That is why I don't think Nirvana is necessarily overrated. Now, are they overplayed? As a Nirvana fan, I can say yes, they can get a little overplayed. Kind of like the Rolling Stones, it's not usually their best stuff what gets overplayed. It's mostly Smells Like Teen Spirit or Heart-Shaped Box, sometimes Rape Me, and maybe Elysium. But like I said with the Rolling Stones, are good songs, but most of the best songs are either A, too edgy to play on the radio, or B, too odd to play on the radio. That's why I love Nirvana. They were out there, they were strange, and for a mainstream band, they were probably one of the best groups what came out of that era. Okay, now, move on to another band I really like, and I can actually see more why people don't like this one too much, and that is Pearl Jam. To be fair, you're either into Eddie Vedder's vocals or you're not. And that's the thing, you have to be very into the vocals. Not a lot of people are into the vocals, and I can see why. But, personally, I love Pearl Jam. I think they're probably, to be fair, next to Nirvana, one of the best bands what came out of that era. But, yes, I love Pearl Jam. Okay, moving on. Now we're going to get into some bands I really don't like, people, so please bear with me. If you don't agree with me, that's fine, but it's my opinions. This is going to be a part 1, part 2, by the way. Okay. My Chemical Romance. Yuck. Okay. This is what people think they're overrated. They're whiny, obnoxious, attentive way of being artsy and things. Look, I get it. I was in that era, sadly, so I went through that phase. I think, the same way about them as what I do about Green Day. They're both whiny and they're both attentive. I don't like My Chemical Romance. Ew. Do I really have to say much about that band? There's just, no. Okay. So, that was part 1. I'll see you in part 2. What do you think? And also type up some bands and artists, and even some hip-hop artists if you want, about what you see. Because in part 2, you're going to hear a lot of hip-hop artists in here, so get ready for that. Because I really want to know, I want to see what I think about this band, and I even want to see what you think. So have a good day and bye.